Mrs. Evelyn was a kind and beautiful old woman who lived in a quaint little house at the edge of the village. Her hair, silver like the moonlight, framed her gentle face, and her eyes carried the warmth of 1,000 summer days. Known for her compassion and generous heart, Mrs. Evelyn was loved by everyone in the village. Her days were filled with simple joys. Tending to her garden filled with vibrant flowers, baking delicious pies for the children, and knitting warm scarves for the villagers. Despite her age, she was always bustling with energy and had a smile that could brighten the gloomiest of days. One chilly morning, as the first snowflakes began to fall, Mrs. Evelyn heard a faint knock on her door. Opening it, she found a young boy named Tommy, shivering and holding a scruffy little dog in his arms. "Mrs. Evelyn," Tommy began, his voice trembling, "I found this dog on my way to school. He looks so cold and hungry. Can you help him?" Without a moment's hesitation, Mrs. Evelyn welcomed them inside. She quickly fetched a warm blanket and wrapped it around the dog, placing him near the fireplace. "There you go, little one," she said softly, her voice soothing like a gentle lullaby. She prepared a bowl of warm broth and set it before the shivering pup, who wagged its tail weakly in gratitude. Tommy watched in awe as Mrs. Evelyn tended to the dog with such care. "Thank you, Mrs. Evelyn. You're so kind," he said. She smiled at him warmly. "Kindness is a gift everyone can afford to give, Tommy," she replied. "It doesn't cost anything, but its value is beyond measure." As the days passed, the dog, whom Tommy affectionately named Snowball, grew stronger under Mrs. Evelyn's care. Word of her kindness spread, and soon villagers began dropping off old blankets, food, and toys for Snowball. The little house at the edge of the village became a haven not just for Snowball, but for anyone in need of a little kindness and warmth. Winter turned to spring, and the village thrived, bound together by the simple acts of kindness inspired by Mrs. Evelyn. Flowers bloomed, children laughed, and an old woman with a heart full of love continued to teach everyone that kindness, no matter how small, could change the world. And so, in the quiet village, the legacy of Mrs. Evelyn's kindness lived on, in every warm smile, in every act of generosity, and in the love that blossomed in the hearts of all who knew her.